I mean, you've probably been there, right? It's just
Yeah, I've been to Topaki and all that. I went there. The traffic in Istanbul is crazy.
Yeah, that
insane.
Sucks. But such a
worse than New York ever was.
Such a beautiful city. It's really important that you mentioned, Charlie Kirk had bashed Muslims a lot, but you were still praying for him. It just shows you have a heart, and you had people attacking you for that. That's just disgusting that people would attack you for having a heart, that like he wasn't a bad man. Maybe, we both had disagreements with him.
I understand why some people's hearts are swollen because, he's pushing for the narrative of what's happening in Gaza is justified.
Oh, yeah.
As somebody that lost his family in war, I lost 28 people in the Kosovo War. My family was killed. First cousins, my uncle that I loved more than anybody, Din, in the village of Hereć, Kosovo. I know what it's like to be 14 years old and find out, on a phone call that your family got taken out.
Yeah. Just,
okay, I know what it's like.
I think his family was there.
My family was killed by Serbian Orthodox Christians who also went to war with the Bosnians, right? There's videos of them being blessed by Christian monks before battle and whatever. And of course, you're going to pray before you go into war. So what I'm saying is in my entire life, I'm a public person. I never once blamed Christianity for my family being killed. Yeah. I never once heard a Bosnian, who I have many friends that are Bosnian, blame Christianity for what happened in Srebrenica, where 8,000 young men and boys that were unarmed went to United Nations safe zone. You're safe here. The UN is here. This is all on YouTube. Go look it up. The World Army couldn't stop a massacre of 2 weeks of unarmed men and boys that they still won't call the G word that rhymes with pesticide, because we can't even say certain words because we're not free as Americans.
No, exactly. Like
there needs to be an amendment to the U.S. Constitution that social media is the new public square because of its influence, because it is not protected. There can't be any messing around with algorithms. It should be mandatory, no algorithms, whatever the people push.
I strongly agree.
That's true free speech, because we've seen it has the power to topple empires, to create color revolutions, to lead to madness, and it has become weaponized. And just getting back to the point, brother, it is not in the doctrine of Islam for Muslims to hate Christians or Jews. They have a protected class. And I will scream at the top of my lungs, I'm willing to lose my life to say this, because I am risking my life by saying it. Am I not?
Yeah, unfortunately we are. They want to say,
but I don't come.
But I don't want to die, but I'm willing to. It's just,
the Romans.
You can't live as a coward.
The Romans destroyed the last temple that the Israelites had in Jerusalem. It wasn't the Muslims. It wasn't the Arabs. The Muslims didn't push the Jews out. It was actually the opposite. After the Muslims got control of Jerusalem, there was the Pact of Omar. I dare you to look it up. And he found not a single Jew in Jerusalem. What did he command? The king of one of the most powerful empires at the time. How come there's no Jews here? Second king after the Prophet Muhammad. First was Abu Bakr, then it was Omar al-Khattab. I dare you to read his life. Here's the history of Islam from its foundation. I don't care what people have done in the past. I'm going back to source. Yeah. I'm going back to the Prophet Muhammad and the closest to him. What did Omar say? What do you mean there's no Jews here? Sir, they've been wiped out. They're gone. Bring me 80 families immediately. If I'm lying, I'll never talk again. Google it right now. ChatGPT it right now. And then I'm going to sit here and listen to people like Laura Loomer pushing this agenda that Islam is the enemy of Judaism when they were massacred everywhere else, wiped out. Did the Muslims do the Inquisition? No. What did they do? They left Europe and went back to the Muslims. If Muslims hated Jews, why was the second most powerful person under the Ottoman Empire a Jewish prime minister by the name of Maimonides? I can't even say the name right. Maimonds. Look it up. In their own books they wrote, we flourished under the Muslims. They had their own courts, their own judges. Oh, but you charge them a tax. Where are you not paying tax on earth right now? And how much was the tax, Jake? Do you know?
You told me earlier.
2.5%.
Like, I wish I paid that.
What are we paying as Americans? Up to 40% without sales tax, property tax, state income tax. I live in New York City. I'm paying $10,000 a year in tolls for roads that are already paid for. I'm paying parking on roads that I paid to build already.
Insane.
And they're going to talk about a 2.5% flat tax, which also meant that the Jews under that empire didn't have to fight in any war. Everywhere else, they were hunted down like animals. This is not about pushing anti-Jew. This is actually the opposite. This is you're pushing anti-Muslim propaganda to make it justifiable for what you're doing in the Middle East. It's not the religion. You have radicals in every faith, and I condemn them. As someone that was underneath the World Trade Center the day it fell, I had my American flag out. I had tears streaming from my eyes as I walked over the Brooklyn Bridge as a 19-year-old man, and the world has never been the same again. And not only was I a victim that day, but then I had to listen to everything that came with it after it. Muslim this, Muslim that. Poor Sikhs were pulled out of cars. The people are so stupid, they're pulling Sikhs out of cabs and stabbing them to death.
Jesus.
And we've never been the same as a nation. But I ask yourselves, am I lying? What did all these wars bring the American people except
Debt.
$40 trillion, which I don't think we're ever going to pay back. I think that the clock is ticking. We're all being pushed into a new order with cryptocurrency that so many of you, you're making money for now. Enjoy it. As you build your prison for tomorrow, Christians and Muslims are not enemies. And this is how simple we can fix it once and for all.
Yeah.
We both believe he's the Messiah, Jake. Mm-hmm. We both believe he's coming back to earth. Yeah. When he comes back to earth, he can tell us, you were right, Christian. You were wrong, Muslim. Mm-hmm. Christian, you were wrong, Muslim. We both believe he's coming back. I think right now we have a bigger fire to worry about. People that are pushing godlessness. People that are pushing agendas against the creator. A boy should chop his wee-wee off. It's okay. Okay?
Yeah, that's demonic.
Going against the creator. Pushing filth. Pushing usury. Interest, which is against Christ also. Christ flipped the table. Jesus Christ in the Bible flipped the table over because they were charging interest. How much interest you paying on your credit cards? Blood money.
It's almost 30%. It's
30% unpayable.
It's insane, yeah.
Okay? We've been plunged into debt. You got to blame someone.
Yeah, the mortgages, the credit cards, the debt. I just want to add real quick back to...
And I'm sorry, man. I know I'm ranting. My heart is swollen, brother. Today's a hard day for me, man. Because of Charlie, because of 9/11.
No, it's tough. But just you mentioned these Muslim countries. I've actually been to a lot of these countries, and I was treated the best I've ever been. People invite me to their home for tea. I was there on Christmas. I was cooked a Christmas cake and brought presents. That's Jesus' birthday, but like they don't celebrate it, but they celebrated it for me just because I was a guest. It's like the hospitality is unreal.